Okay, here we go. Another episode of the Rams game. Joined as always by my co-host Blackmane. Blackmane, how's it going?
Good. How are you today, Torsion?
Doing well. As we can see here, looks like the world's on fire. Um, some dragons versus squids, a little bit of Ulm cleanup, and then some various other battles between um, Baisha and Yis. And then, yeah, that's about it. Oh, and some Flagra and TC. So let's see what we got.
Great. Finally getting into that mid-game fun where everyone's fighting someone.
Uh, Relatively standard swapping of provinces between these two.
They've been battling for a while now.
Here we go. A little cleanup action.
Nothing too exciting, just some province raiding.
We're seeing a lot of the western region coming online now. Um,
I believe so. The Earth, yeah, they're the Earth ones.
yeah,
So these are the best solo thugs.
and with that bless that he's got, I believe it was Hardskin and Regen, right? That's gonna make a pretty beefy thug.
Let's see.
Yeah, Regen, Chill,
I'll
and
read Gen's
Fortitude.
Fortitude. Yeah,
Okay.
they're really strong.
Yeah. Um,
It's always a little scary thugging into Rillier because the PD gets a Mind Blaster. But I think he's strong enough, he doesn't care too much.
yeah, magic's resistance pretty low here. Yeah, more cleanup. Um, TC into Flagra. Okay, actually, this turn isn't as interesting as I'd hoped.
Looks like it's mostly just raiding and a couple of pings.
Yep. Oh, Ulm with. Oh, this must be a mercenary group. Yeah,
Yeah, Trader Prince.
grabbing some underwater provinces. Continued cleanup. Ugh, swapping provinces back and forth. Okay. Relay pushing back a little.
Sadly, no big battles, just a lot of
Yeah,
small ones.
looks like an entire turn full of raiding.
Oh, Shinu. Getting never ending indies. This is the curse of misfortune. Someone's going to have this game.
Okay. So that was turn 25. Unfortunately, no battles. Um, Taking a look at the strategic map, we have Flagra under siege by TC. Pretty large army here by TC. Um, we have Vaisha and Yis continuing to swap provinces around. Um, just feels like a drain of resources on both sides in this war.
Yeah, it's so pointless.
You gotta
They've
wonder
not
if,
really accomplished anything.
yeah, if there was any diplomacy going on between the two. Um, just not a great outcome. And then we've got Ulm cleaning up Asphodel. A lot of Minotaurs left here in the capital, but Ulm doesn't seem too concerned. Maybe they'll collapse on it this next turn with these various
Yeah,
armies.
they have no real reason to finish Asphodel quickly at this point. They may as well clean everything up. They've
Yep,
been, as you can see, they've cut off all the farms, so that Asphodel's gold income will be terrible now.
yeah.
And they just reinforce the leisure.
And then, oh, delay. Um, we have Atlantis moving in on the fort over here. Ryugajo moved in pretty strongly. And then Atlantis looks to have a large army about to move on the capital. We'll see what happens with that.
I think it's going to be water elemental versus water elemental. Hopefully, pretty entertaining.
And then not a whole lot going on from Shamba right now. Um, and then same thing with our goblin friends, just chilling. Be
Yeah,
interesting to
they
see.
Shinu feels almost like a a bit of a rump state at this point. They're very small. I think their window to get big is starting to shrink.
Take a quick look at the graphs. Ulm on top, followed by TC and the Dragons. TC still with that significant advantage on forts, but Ulm starting to close the gap. Ulm, TC, and the Dragons surprisingly high considering how terrible their scales are.
Yeah, just that pure province advantage, I guess.
Yeah, I would have expected. Yeah. Gem income. Shamba continues to be up there. Did they put up some sort of global? No. Okay. Just some powerful site searching.
My guess is they just hit some research timing for remote site search.
How do you approach remote site searching versus using mages? A couple parts to this question. One, is there a preference? And then two, if you've already searched a path at level 1, for example, do you then remote site search it at 9?
So I think it's one of the more complicated parts of the game is to figure out exactly what you should be site searching. For mages versus spells, it's really about turn efficiency. So remote site searching via spells is highly turn efficient, but it's not as gem efficient because you have to spend gems. Site searching with mages is less turn efficient because you have to move them around, which wastes a lot of time. But obviously you don't have to spend gems to do that, although you do have to spend gold on the mage. So I would say in the early game, often you're really gem starved. So you can't really afford to just be spamming a lot of remote site search in the very early game. So you typically use mages. But as you get further into the late game, then it becomes easier just to use remotes to clear out large areas. As to your other question about whether to remote site when you've searched one site, I'd have to go look at the. There's some handy statistics on it, but at least in vanilla, search it depends on the path, but searching one in a path gets you about 60% of the sites. So really, it becomes a question of whether or not it's worth hunting through for that other 40%. The big exception are Death and Astral. Death and Astral have more sites at higher paths, so they're usually better to site search using remote spells.
Interesting. Thank you for that. And then, what's your thought on the more expensive astral spell? I believe it's like 20 pearls for all paths. Do you use that late game when you've taken some new territory, something like that? Or is that overcosted in your mind?
I think it's definitely overcosted. It has one main purpose, which is if you know a province is likely to have many sites. For example, if it's a throne site and no one has searched it before, you can't see any sites on there, it's often worth casting this. But I certainly wouldn't cast that spell just to search normal provinces because you're not going to get that return on investment quickly enough, especially because it comes on relatively late in the game.
Clicking through here into research, we have Ulm and TC making their climbs due to that fort advantage, but looks like Atlantis. Oh, who is that? The squids? Yeah, squids are up there. Oh, and Phaeacia. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a
You've got
exponential research increase.
dragons and elves way down there. Everyone else relatively tight. And then Dominion TC quite a bit ahead. Doesn't really matter at this stage in the game, I would say, but it's interesting.
Yeah, not too important. I think they really slammed the infrastructure after that expansion. So I think that's the main reason. I don't think there's any. I don't think they're going for any tactic with the High Dominion.
Yeah.
It's just a function of the lot of forts that they have.
Well, there's turn 25. We'll take a quick jump over to turn 26. Okay, here we go. Turn 26. Battle in Flegra. Excited to see that. And then hopefully some actual battles rather than a lot of raiding. Oh, battle in Relay. So there we go. We might have two good fights this round.
Wonderful.
Oh, not great.
No,
Let's
that's
take a quick peek because these tyrants are extremely expensive.
totally ungeared. Oh,
Yeah,
twice spawns. He might be just sacking them.
yep. Little iron skin, little temper flesh. And then here come those quickness red guards and just... Yeah. Interesting. They're
So,
a whole lot
all
of
right.
0 damage.
I
Is
think
is this just a issue? Strength is quite low, quickness not very good against high prot.
yeah, 28 prot. So the TC might actually run into some problems if they don't find a solution to this. Like we discussed earlier in these casts, quickness is really good for expansion. It's very powerful early, but it starts to fall off. We're already starting to see it fall off in mid game.
Yep. Little raiding. Ulm probing some thrones. Jesus, so much raiding back and forth between these two. Interesting.
Well, that's
A little bit of a PD dump? Not even really.
yeah, medium PD dump. This must have been a mistake by Rillier or some other reason why they attacked only with the lizards.
Oh, interesting. We got Shamba going underwater, leveraging the Bluefire mod.
Yeah, it's really good to see a lot of the land nations taking the water provinces near them.
Yeah.
In vanilla, you often see land nations never take the water provinces, even for the entire game.
Oh, here we go. Asphodel attacked Ulm and won. Oh, not a huge army from Ulm.
Yeah, relatively small army. I mean, he did manage to clear a couple of mages, but at the
Yeah,
cost
but
of a dryad.
look at that.
And a lot of his minotaurs, yeah.
Yeah, 21 of them down the drain. That's actually probably a good trade for Ulm.
Yeah, I think it's not bad at all. He's probably happy to see Asphodel continue to bleed.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Ooh, that might be the last gasp from Relay here. That's a lot of Meteorite Guard and Lithids.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad for them.
So Atlantis bringing some trolls online. Oops.
I think that's a mercenary group.
Oh, okay.
What have we got here? A lot of lizards.
Couple slaves, or not slaves. Slave
So we're going to
mages.
see a bunch of water elementals.
Yeah.
So we'll see who wins the
You know, I've
water elemental battle.
it is a decent number of mages on the relay side, but looks like no buffs on the Meteorite Guard. They're just walking in right away.
Yeah, I think he's gonna pretty much just cast water elementals. Which, to be fair, it's also it looks like mostly what Atlantis is doing.
Yeah, but Atlantis has Assault Blessing and whatnot, right? That they can throw on once those
Yeah,
water
the basalt
elementals are
blessing.
out.
That's true. They are using their mages, the H3s, to put basalt blessing up on. I think mostly it was cast on the units. Protection 23 there. As well.
Yeah, protection 19.
Yeah, there we go. 15 natural protections.
Yeah, 20.
Which is not as impactful versus the Royal Elementals, but every little bit helps. And it certainly helps them against the Meteorite Guard.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of paralyzed back here, but I think it's just enough for Atlantis to take down the Meteorite Guard and still have a little bit to help their water elementals.
Yeah.
And probably a slight water elemental advantage on the Atlantis side.
Yeah, so it can be a bit hard to tell, but it does. Yeah, it does look like there are more water elementals from Atlantis quite significantly at this point. And this kind of early mid game is where water elementals really shine. And this in Bluefires they've been nerfed twice. In vanilla they're pretty much the only thing you use. As you get further into mid late game, then they drop off. But at this point, they're really dominant.
Yeah, as some of the battlefield wide buffs come online.
Yeah, that's right. And you can also then buff the water elementals to keep them being relevant. But they're difficult to buff. Ordinary troops can start doing pretty well against them.
Yeah. Tough luck
This
here
is
by
something over
Relay.
there.
Just not great position for them based on the map, and
No.
yeah. Put up a fight. That's all you can ask for. It does look like Atlantis is breaking here, right?
Yeah, it looks like the army is broken.
Yeah.
But there's enough wellies to carry it.
Yeah. But still may buy Relay a little bit of time, as Atlantis likely has to reform their troops before the siege actually kicks off.
Yep, that's true.
More India attacks.
more India attacks on Chinu.
That's just wild how many they have experienced. Because they're not the only misfortune in the game, it's just, yeah.
Sometimes you just get the bad luck. That's what misfortune does to you. Sometimes it just ruins your game.
Yeah. Anything in particular you're interested in seeing?
No, I think that otherwise things are pretty static at the moment.
Okay.
Perhaps it's worth seeing whether any of Ulm's forces retreated safely. It looks like it was the fight was on a square that they could retreat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have saved their mages.
And they still have quite a bit left. And more forces just flooding down at all times.
Yeah, as long as they don't get picked off piecemeal, then I think it shouldn't be a problem for them to clean out this last Asphodel army.
Yep. Okay, one more turn for this video.
Sure.
Here we go. I believe that's Ryuga claiming that. Maybe a few fewer battles, but we've got Ulm into Asphodel. Yeah, nothing else jumps out at me. Yep, here we go.
Very aggressive from Ulm.
Yeah.
I think a good play. Wouldn't have been expected.
Ooh. Here we go.
Finally.
What a smackdown. You know, you ask people, we've been doing these tier lists on the Reddit Discord, and general consensus, Yis, strong, Phaeacia, weak. And I'd say that's fair, right? The community is fairly unified around that opinion. And
yeah,
then
I think that's...
you see this. And on paper, you've got a few mages from Yis, and then 25 sacreds, which is a decent force. And then obviously a few more mages on the Phaeacia side, and just an absolute stomp by Phaeacia here.
This goes to show that you can beat any position on the tier list, but if you're bringing 3 mages and your opponent is bringing super combatant and 17 mages, then things are just not going to go well for you.
Yep.
That's kind of the beauty of Dominions. You can actually win with low tiers if you play them well.
Let's see what we've got here. Okay. We've got... Maybe these are all... Yeah, just a clump. You even have a scout taking... We'll see what they do with these communion mages.
Big communion goes up.
Yep. And
And
then...
Wind Guide, he's going to, I think, do a big Evo Thunder Strike probably, which will start deleting this.
Yeah, what was the bless over here? Yeah, only shock resist 5. T-strike is gonna melt
It's just going to
them.
obliterate. Yeah. Let's see what we've
I
got. It could also be
wonder...
Air Elementals.
Yeah, I
No, it's
wonder if
T-Strike.
the mage losses on the Phaeacia side were from communion burnout.
Oh, you missed the T-Strikes. Yeah, they might have been.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but now they're landing.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Just decimating the sacreds on the east side.
This is the absolute perfect example of why you need to bring mages to your armies.
Yeah, that's got to be, yep, communion slave burnout. Fatigue
Yeah,
200.
Physique 200. Yep.
That's a bummer. They must have been very close to getting away with this. What was the total number of slaves in that? Yeah, 5 slaves. Yeah, they must have all died. Yeah, they were probably pretty close to surviving that.
In human mage communions, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to accept that you will get burnout. Because even if you calculate things perfectly, sometimes things just go wrong, especially off script.
Ooh, and a big titan walking around.
Not really too relevant a bless for them, but it doesn't matter. It's a big sweeping event.
Larger's interesting. Increases the HP on the communion. Did they throw up? Oh, missed it. I wonder.
No,
No, they
because they're not
can't.
sacred.
Yeah. Interesting. So what's the point of a larger bless? Does Phaeacia have sacreds?
It does, yeah. I'm not sure he's using any here. Oh yeah, these are Orichalcum cards.
Oh, okay.
Which I guess makes them... I mean, they do have quite a lot of HP. It makes them a bit better blockers.
Yeah, but it
It might
bumps
give more
them.
map move.
It bumps
Yeah,
them
but it bumps them to
to
size 4, yeah. So it
yeah.
means that they have very little attack density.
Yeah. But I guess if you're just using them as blockers anyway.
Yeah, you might not care too much. I mean, really, the damage here was done by...
Yeah, it was the Weavers, just the
yeah.
T-strike communion.
Very effective. So that's a big blow for years. They can't really afford to lose too many knights like this.
Especially without significant losses on the opposing side.
Yeah, and other than some communion burnout, Phaeacia lost basically nothing.
Yep. Yeah, Atlantis just cleaning up. Oh, here we go. Interesting. Just a few mages and some guardians cleaned up the rest of that Asphodel
It's
army.
very one-sided, yeah. Was it a big buff pile by Ulm?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Legions of Steel. And then we should be seeing Strength of Giants, probably.
Yep, Strength of Giants. I saw it in there.
Yep, there we go.
There it is.
So yeah.
Another perfect example of why you bring mages in your mid-game fights.
26 protection, 16 strength. You're doing a whole lot of damage.
So I expect we'll just see these minor
Oh,
tiers
just
melt.
getting deleted. Just absolute bludgeoning. And that, yeah, the prot is high enough on these guardians that they're taking very little damage.
This is something that I think gets overlooked, particularly by newer players. You think, oh, you know, like for example, Temper Armor, Legions of Steel, it's only giving you 3 prot. How much does that really matter when a weapon is doing 20 damage? But often, prot versus damage is at these breakpoints in Dominions where you might have 20 prot and your opponent's doing, say, 23 damage. So if you get now 3 more prot, instead of doing 3 average damage, they're doing 0 average damage, or, you know, slightly more than 0 average damage. And so you're actually doing a massive amount. You know, your survivability goes up massively.
Yeah.
So yeah, these buffs can be really important.
Yeah.
They can make or break fights, as you can see here.
Yeah. Oh my god, only 3 Guardians lost on the Ulm side. Well played
Yeah,
by
that's a
Ulm.
brutal takedown. Yeah, I think Ulm is looking really strong.
Ryuga getting in on some Asphodel land. A
Bit of
very
vulturing.
opportunistic play from Ryuga this game so far. I think they moved in on a pond relatively close to Shinu. Yeah, it seems like they've taken some relay land with minor resistance. Seems like Atlantis did most of the heavy lifting there. So
Yeah, they've
opportunistic is
done
what I
very
would
well.
call them.
Played aggressively, taken their advantage in each situation.
Okay, a slightly better outcome for ES here. These guys are not cheap um, on the Phaeacia side, but still, I think overall between the 2 fights, Phaeacia's coming out ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Shamba doing another scout check on a throne. Shinu looking to do the same.
And their unit got stolen.
Yep.
It just made the throne slightly stronger.
Okay, we'll take a quick look at the map here to see where Ryuga's moving in. Okay, makes sense. Right near their throne, grabbing a few of these border provinces. Yeah, nothing too
Perfect sense.
surprising. Yeah, I think that was the last gasp from Asphodel. Oh, still not cracked the fort here.
I think this might be a giant castle, which I think has 1,000. Oh, yeah, 750, not quite 1,000.
Yeah.
Take a while to get through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it for this turn.
Great. Well, it's shaping up to be a really interesting game. I think Ulm is definitely dominant on land, although TC is doing pretty well.
Yeah, and I think we'll call this video and look forward to the next one.
Looking forward to it too. Thanks, Torsion.
Thank you.